Domestic staffing job titles and definitions. Please keep in mind that there is no one true way to define these roles. In fact, some of them are interchangeable. Many people have tried to bring more uniformity to defining the titles and descriptions, but ultimately each household uses them the way they like. This list is not exhaustive. Executive Personal Assistant, EPA. Job titles and descriptions. An EPA is usually the title for the person who is in the number one position, the right hand to the principal, CEO, celebrity, family patriarch, etc. The executive personal assistant is usually in charge of other subordinate assistants, maids, nannies, chefs, drivers, security personnel, and so on. The term personal, as opposed to administrative, in the title is just as it suggests, it is a very personal kind of situation. If you work for an A-list celebrity, for example, that person is going to have agents, publicists, business managers, lawyers, and stylists. The EPA is the only one that spends extended periods of time with the celebrity. All of the other professionals just interact with intermittent phone calls and the occasional face-to-face meeting. Simply put, the executive personal assistant is like the unlawfully wedded spouse, which is not an exaggeration. It is not at all uncommon for the EPA to spend more time with their boss than the boss spends with their husband, wife, boyfriend, or girlfriend, because working more than 12 hours a day is common. Because of this fact, the executive personal assistant is often the target of sabotage from other colleagues because the backbiting and jealousy is so pervasive with the ultra-high net worth families. I will talk more about how to handle these kinds of delicate issues later on, in my book. You can view an extended definition here in the EPA job description for a billionaire. Executive Administrative Assistant, EAA. Executive Assistant duties. An EAA, also called an executive assistant, usually works in an office. In many ways they are the opposite of an executive personal assistant. They work exclusively in a business setting. A 4-year degree is almost always required. Although a 4-year degree is preferred with an EPA position, one can obtain employment in that field without one. Note, I have since earned both a BA and master's degree. An executive administrative assistant must also know how to type and be completely fluent in programs like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, Office Suite. Like the EPA position, an EAA is usually in charge of multiple subordinate assistants. Although the executive administrative assistant position usually requires a 4-year degree and fluency in most computer applications, it usually pays less than the EPA position and is certainly not as glamorous. There are now hybrid positions in the industry where the EPA and EAA has duties at the office and in the estate of the VIP. Hybrid positions are becoming more common in the industry. You can learn more about the salary range for low-range to ultra-high range assistants here. Personal Assistant, PA. Personal assistant duties. Depending on how high-profile the principal is, they can have numerous PAs. The personal assistant's job can range from picking up laundry to booking airline tickets. Any PA position, even at the EPA level, covers a myriad of all things from A to Z. Doing personal assistant work is an obvious first step to moving up to becoming an executive PA. Depending on how high-profile the VIP is, and how many estates they have, there can be many personal assistants, all of which will report to the executive personal assistant, estate manager, or chief of staff, depending on how the hierarchy is structured in household. To view an extended list of personal assistant duties and qualities here. Personal concierge, PC aka lifestyle manager. Lifestyle manager duties. The term PC is sometimes used when a personal assistant is contracted for a short-term traveling assistant position. It is still a PA position. I have often seen this term interchanged with lifestyle manager when it's a full-time position. So the personal concierge duties would pertain mainly to how the VIP will travel, what hotels they will stay in, and what activities they will participate in while on vacation. You can view a more detailed lifestyle manager description here. Estate manager, M. Estate manager duties. An EM is in charge of everything involved in the home of the principal, hiring gardeners, auto detailers, plumbers, etc. Sometimes the executive personal assistant takes on this role. However, if the workload is enormous, a dedicated estate manager is hired. Usually in ultra-large mansions where butlers and maids are employed full-time. You can view an extended estate manager job description here. Butler. Butler duties these days. A butler can be male or female and can have a number of responsibilities, but most often serves guests. They often take the lead role of the other servants. Depending on the size of the estate and the number of employees, the butler can also act as the house manager as well. Because each estate is run differently, job titles and responsibilities are often blurred. Hybrid positions are very popular now, and the butler could also have some driving responsibilities, but so could the personal assistant. Some of the other interchangeable titles are butler administrator, staff manager, majordomo, staff captain, or head of household staff. Nanny. Nanny description: a nanny is exclusively in charge of children. In the past, this role was primarily handled by women. Men are now in the game and are referred to as nannies. Again, I would like to stress that these are only guidelines for the titles, others may define them differently. Some of these positions are even live-in, which means you actually stay in the home of the employer. There are, of course, all kinds of hybrid positions in the domestic staffing industry and titles as well. For a more detailed description of a nanny, go her personal chef. Chef description: while personal assistants, nannies, and butlers can do light meal preparation, it would be customary in a large estate to hire a full-time private chef. These types of positions often require that the chef have both professional training and prior experience in luxury hotels and resorts. Depending on the contractual arrangement, the chef could have a number of responsibilities during breakfast, lunch, brunch, and dinner, and these responsibilities can include weekends and holidays. High-net-worth families often take a private chef with them to other estates or even on vacation. The chef will often work hand in hand with the butler, executive personal assistant, and estate manager for a variety of reasons. Candidates in this category need to be well versed in a variety of cuisines with knowledge of fine wines. Some chefs, butlers, and estate managers may even be a sommelier. Housekeeper/laundress. Housekeeper description: depending on the size of the estate, there could be a number of housekeepers who are led by a senior housekeeper. Essentially, the housekeeping staff operate in a similar way one would see in a five-star hotel. The cleaning regimen is highly systematized, and the housekeepers are trained to meet the individualized needs of the VIPs they work for. A laundress would specifically be responsible for laundry, ironing, and accessories, to name a few things. She would also be in charge of packing/unpacking for holidays, as well as storing seasonal clothing. It would be customary for a person in this role to have specialized training and come from a luxury hospitality background. Personal security, aka bodyguard. Private security description: outside of the mega estate domain, when we hear the word security, we think of rent-a-cop types walking around a shopping mall. In the world of the ultra-high net worth, personal security is quite different. Think Secret Service and military types. Former State Department officers are the types that protect the super-rich. They are also called close protection officers or executive protection. Billionaires can spend as much as $25 million a year on personal security, that is 24/7/365, depending on how many estates, private jets and yachts they have. To see an extended description and even see a video for billionaire super security, go here. Superyacht staff. Yacht staff description: for ultra-high net worth individuals, billionaires and royal families, having one or more megayachts is common. A chief of staff will have to be familiar with managing yacht crews as part of her purview. Visit here for a detailed list of yacht staff and crew descriptions. Private family office staff. Family office description: a private family office, aka family office, is an organization of advisory experts in staffing, finance, and philanthropy, among other things. Some ultra-high net worth families elect to employ board of subject matter experts that are essentially captive agents working for the trust and other business entities. For a more descriptive outline of a private family office, go here. Manager of private jets. Private jet crew. When it comes to traveling on private aircraft, many celebrities and high net worth families have moved toward fractional ownership and/or buying empty legs. But the super rich, think Forbes' top 100 billionaires, can and do own multiple private jets. Because time is so critical to them, having the restrictions that come along with fractional ownership or buying empty legs is simply not an option, so they will have a dedicated crews waiting in the wings. The aircraft manager would report directly to the chief of staff and may be on call 24/7. For a more detailed outline of traveling on private jets, go here. Chief of Staff. Chief of Staff description. The Chief of Staff is going to be running the entire operation. If the VIP has multiple estates, then the COS is responsible for all employees at every property. Essentially, the Chief of Staff is like the chairman for all of the employees, which can be in the hundreds for ultra-high net worth families. Go here for an in-depth Chief of Staff job description. Driver, hybrid PA security. Personal driver description. Depending on the size of the estate and schedule of the principal, a full-time driver may be employed. This is often a hybrid position as the driver can double as a personal assistant as well. Further, many UHNW individuals are now hiring hybrid driver security agents. And to take it even one more step, billionaires are even hiring female driver security agents who are essentially undercover bodyguards. The idea behind this is to be inconspicuous. If, for example, an UHNWI is walking around with 3 gigantic bodyguards, they are basically advertising to the world that they are someone who should be kidnapped. Essentially, it's better now not to have a target on your back. Maintenance tech. Maintenance tech description. For sprawling mega estates, a full-time maintenance man will usually be hired. Essentially, this role is a very glorified handyman, because they will be a sort of electrical engineer in charge of the estate's smart systems, interior and exterior lighting, and entertainment systems, just to name a few things. They will use detailed checklists as a 5-star hotel would, daily, monthly, quarterly, and yearly, to-do items. The maintenance tech will work closely with the estate manager and security team to ensure that all systems are operating at 100%, 365 days a year. When needed, the MT will hire and supervise third-party contractors to maintain or repair highly advanced equipment.